Hey guys, welcome to part 39 of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. In the last part we took on Misty finally and got her badge, so the next thing to do is... I don't really know. I'll be quite perfectly honest. Yeah, so after doing Misty it's like, well, there's no real... All I have to do now is just get to the other cities, but I didn't really have any idea about which one I should go to in particular. So my thinking was that I could go to Jotun, get a bicycle and then come back, so I could then go along the biking route so I can get to Fuchsia City. And I then found out that you can't fly directly from Kanto to Jotun. I mean, I don't know why. I guess Hawkins just gets a bit tired. It's like, squawk, I'm just gonna land here. If you make me fly that far, I'll just drop you. I'll be quite honest. So, you know, as long as Hawkins is being honest about that, I don't mind it. But so yeah, so I try and go on the magnet train, and the magnet train goes from here to Saffron City to Goldenrod City, but you need a pass to use it, and I don't know where the pass is, so then I was like, well, scrap that idea. The beginning of this part is just me trying to think, okay, what can I do? Because that's what it really is a case of. It's not what do I need to do, it's what can I do at this point, because now originally when we arrived in Kanto there was a load of stuff that I could go and see and do, but now I'm actually just getting through it all, and I've already gotten 4 badges, so I'm already halfway there in terms of going through the gyms. So I was just like, well, let's just see what I can do. And I came to this building, the Silph Corp, and there's nothing to do here. Well, this guy gives you an upgrade, so I mean that's very generous. But yeah, so they've smartly done it so they just block off areas that you can't really, or you shouldn't really be going to. So in this place it's like 11 floors, but you can only go to the first floor. So I'm very happy about that, because I definitely would have wasted my time going through all the floors and seeing if anything was there. So I'm happy that they granted me that I didn't have to waste my time. One quick thing I'm going to mention, in the last part you might have noticed that I was a bit sillier? I think that's the nice that's the nice word for it. Yeah, I had had a few drinks before recording that part, and usually I wouldn't dare be that unprofessional, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna mix things up. I just thought I would just do it, because after recording, I figured this out, because after recording this much Pokemon, I guess I kind of have to do different things to make it, well, not fresh, because I was never fresh, but I thought I could excuse me being a bit drunk for one part and just see how it went, and I think even though I made some really dumb noises, I think it went okay. And that Misty battle was a bit boring, so I guess that was one way to spice up for myself. But I thought about it, with this being part 39 or so, I've done roughly 160 videos Let's Playing Pokemon games, and that's kind of ridiculous. That's crazy. I mean, it's really cool and I'm happy about it, but that's crazy just how many videos I've made, and some of them they're all around 15 minutes long, so I guess I could check the playlist and see how many hours I've put in, even though all of this is sped up, so that even that wouldn't be accurate. It's a lot of hours I've put in Let's Playing Pokemon, but, you know, I enjoy it, so that's why I'm still doing this. And in case you're wondering why I let myself go off on that tangent, it's because this part's kind of boring. Hopefully it won't be boring for you to watch, but it was definitely boring for me to play, because there's so many trainers here. There's just so many. And this first route here, you kind of have to face off all these trainers, because my plan here was that because I couldn't get my bike, I could technically go and get my bike, but I thought there was no point getting the bike from Goldenrod until I can get on the magnet train. I thought it would just make a lot more sense, and at this point in time I don't know, but I'm going to look it up if I can't figure it out, so a good old Bulbapedia. So yeah, so I didn't really know, so I thought, well, there's no point doing that, but I still want to go to Fuchsia City. That seems to be the most logical place to go next, because I don't think, you can't go backwards through Mount Moon from Cerulean City. Cinnabar Island you have to go to Fuchsia to get to, I believe, or Pallet Town, and then if I can't go through Mount Moon, then I can't go to Cerulean City, and with the Snorlax being in the way, so yeah, yada yada yada. And so Fuchsia made the most sense to go to, but this meant that because I didn't have my bike, instead of just going left from Celadon down and then, well, just down that one route, I now have to go from Celadon or from Saffron to Lavender Town, all the way down, all the way along to Fuchsia City, and it takes forever, and it's dull, and it's boring. Well, I mean, good thing at the beginning here, get to stop off in Lavender Town, and they've actually changed this quite a lot, this place. The biggest change is that there's now the radio tower instead of the massive cemetery, which is pretty nice, I guess. It's pretty cool. It's a lot more cheery. It does make Lavender Town a lot less depressing, although it's still kind of depressing, because everyone who's played the originals know that there used to be a tower here, but now there used to be like a cemetery here, and now it's a radio tower. And I don't know if Game Freak were trying to make a comment about something. Maybe this is some sort of, some sort of background commentary or social commentary. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it is, but it seems it's kind of depressing in itself. And yeah, this is the replacement, the House of Memories, and this is where all the Pokemon are buried. And it's only depressing that they did this if you think about it, because it's like, oh, there was all these dead Pokemon, and then some guy's like, steamroll it, don't worry about it. Or somebody had to go around, like, get the Ghostbusters in to catch all the Ghastlies, because you can't just tell ghosts to get out of it. You can't give them an eviction notice and saying, by the way, we're trying to record a sports talk show here, or doing a top chart, a top 10 hit music show. We can't have you go boo in the background. Or maybe they do go boo in the background. Maybe the Ghastlies didn't leave and there's just a ooh as you're listening to Rihanna. I would definitely listen to more top 10 music if there was ghastly noises in it. So yeah, I mean, I think the main reason they did it here is because A, it's less depressing having a radio tower instead of the cemetery, and B, because they wanted to have a radio tower. Apparently radios weren't invented when the player Red went through the first game, but then for the second game someone invented radios or something like that. I don't even know. It's kind of a bit weird. Radio's definitely a very primitive thing, and I guess maybe in the first games they weren't too sure exactly how they were going to do it, like, because most JRPGs are set in this weird kind of bubble of technology and fantasy, and Pokemon is really no exception. So I guess they really, like, further along the series it's more technologically advanced, but radio's been around for years and years and years. It's just, I guess they kind of pick and choose their technologies to what features they want in the game. So for the second gen they wanted the radio because they thought that would be a nice idea, and it wasn't an idea they had before. So then obviously in the Pokemon universe they suddenly have to invent radio. Like, nobody thought that radio was a good idea, or there's no electricity or anything like that. And then in this one there's trains as well, the magnet train, which is a very recent invention. So it's kind of a bit, it comes down to what they want in the game gameplay wise, rather than the weird kind of technology bubble that JRPGs had. So I came to this route because I was like, well, I might as well. At this point I was just exploring, and ultimately coming to this route was completely pointless. I was hoping something would be here, because if you know the layout of Kanto, then you know that I'm heading left back to Vermilion City, but as we've already seen, the Snorlax is there. And the Snorlax is still there. You're going to see this in a few minutes. The Snorlax is still there, and this whole kind of bit is completely pointless. I probably did screw myself over by actually coming into this route and fighting these trainers. I mean, it was already tedious before, and playing this part was tedious, as I already mentioned, but I didn't need to do any of these trainers. I could have just cut them out and saved myself a bit of time, because as you notice, this part is 19 minutes long. And usually I don't like to go up to 19 minutes long unless it's for a particular reason, and the reason is because there's so many trainers here that I didn't want it to spew over into the next part, all the different trainers I fought. So what I did, I sped up the battles a lot more than I usually do. I usually, in case you're wondering out there, I usually speed up, any battles I speed up, it's always the same, it's always 300%, so 3 times quicker. But for this one it was like 350, 375, just because I wanted to get through it. I didn't want to mess around. It was just a lot of a hassle, and I didn't want it to go into another part, because usually I would have just said, right, I'll cut it halfway through, then add in that in the other part, and then have the part be like 15 minutes, but I didn't do that this time. So this route has had a few changes to it. I mean, it's not overly that different, but the building that we had to go through to enter this route has been changed because there's no top floor anymore. In the first games, or first generation, you go to the top floor, talk to the guy, and if you have so many kinds of Pokemon, it's like, hey, the item finder. One of the most pointless, pointless items in the game. I guess I have to say items. I was trying to not say item because it's called the item finder, and it's, yeah, one of the most pointless things in the game. I never use the item finder. I don't really see the point in it. I mean, of course you can get some good items, but it's one of those things in Pokemon, especially at this point in the games, there's so much extra stuff you can do that it seems pointless to try and seek out semi-good items. Like, you're only, like, if it's not the Master Ball or, I don't know, a HP up, something like that, then I'm just not going to actively try and seek it out by doing the Battle Frontier, by going around with the item finder, just pressing A and waiting for the annoying beep noise. I mean, when I play handhelds I don't have the volume up, so the item finder to me is completely pointless. And I'm pretty sure there's an item finder in this game, but I didn't pick it up. But I mean, I don't need it. I don't think it's necessary. Because in Kanto I know the locations, or in the first games, of some of the items, but I mean, even there, they're okay, I guess. Right, so as you just saw, and I already explained, the Snorlax is still in the way, so let's just keep moving on. I remembered that, because obviously you got to find the Poké Flute to wake it up, or... No, I think actually you use the radio to do it. Wait, can I move that Snorlax already? Am I just being a stupid idiot? God damn, I think that's how you do it. I think you power... This is such a stupid thing to have happen when I'm trying to record a part, but I think you just use the radio. The reason why it just came back to me is because I was thinking back to how in Pokemon Silver, when I played through that game, this gave me a lot of trouble. Mainly because I don't use the radio, but thinking about it, it's the radio. I just have to use that. God damn it. I hope I'm right, I don't know. After I record this part, I'm going to load up this game. I'm going to start playing it, believe you me. Because I haven't actually done the Future City battle at this point in time. God, that's crazy. Huh. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm trying to avoid as many trainers as possible because, of course the XP would be nice, but it's not essential, and you don't really get that much. All these trainers around here are like level 38 to level 42 Pokemon, so none of them will give you that much XP, especially if you're like at level 50 or so. Or in my case, level 46, 47, so really, I mean, if I need to train, then I'll come back here, but I just need to get through this route at this point in time. I just need to get to the end of it. I just don't want to hang out in this route anymore. And I have to say, this is one of the reasons why Johto is better, or Johto, whatever, is better than Kanto, because the pacing in Kanto isn't that great. Once you get to the third gym, or once you get to Lavender Town, pretty much, the game does open up a bit, but what that means is that you have to still do so many trainer battles, and because you have a choice, then you can end up just doing so many trainer battles over and over and over, and this whole section is definitely the worst part for it. There was a reason why there was a Snorlax in the place where there was before, splitting up the route that we was just on. It's because if the Snorlax isn't there, then this happens. Getting from Lavender Town to Future City is really dull and repetitive because there's a stupid amount of trainers. Like, there's got to be maybe 20? And 20 might not sound like a lot, but in Pokemon that's a stupid amount. That's a lot of being stopped, that's a lot of sending out your Pokemon and switching them out. That's a lot of Pokemon, so it kind of got really just dull doing this. But I will come back if I need the XP, I'll just do it off screen. Some of these people, as you can see, they have third generation Pokemon, so you're kind of missing out on some of them, but none of them are that interesting. You know, if you want to see a third generation Pokemon, then just Google it, I guess. That's what I can tell you, because I don't want to have to do it. Yeah, I think the fact that these Pokemon have so little health or are so low level, that's another thing that made this kind of boring to do, because it's just not that great. I mean, yeah, just this whole section of Kanto just isn't that good, really. I mean, there's kind of similar parts in Hoenn and Sinnoh, especially Sinnoh, where it's just trainer after trainer after trainer, because I guess they didn't have any ideas for you to do something interesting, something that you know, something to mix things up. And granted, they did a good job considering in this game of mixing things up and trying to make it so you're not just fighting trainer after trainer after trainer to try and get everywhere, because there's pretty much the same amount of trainers as there were in the originals. But here we go, there's Hops McGee, off he goes. That's always nice. I guess I'll have to finish off that storyline as well. Because you have to try and to continue the storyline, you have to find in Swine across Kanto as well. Of course, I had no idea it was there, but you kind of have to come here. Well, that's the thing. If you have a bike, you don't have to come to this side of Kanto, because you have a choice to either go on this east side to get to Future City or the west side. Then I guess I'm kind of happy that I didn't have a bike and had to come here, because I would have completely missed that. There's no way I would have come to this route otherwise. This route's really dull and boring, and there's really nothing here. I mean, in the originals it was kind of interesting because of all the weird Pokemon it had. I think you could catch like a Tangela here, and as I was playing the game, walking along, I walked into the grass and I'm like, Tangela, oh Jesus! And also because the Future City gym is actually pretty tough. I don't know how much of a tough time I'll have with it this time, and well, assuming how it's poison type and I've missed a Sublime, I don't think I will have a tough time. But I remember having to come to this route when I first played through like Blue or Red, and this is where I trained. This is a really good spot to train back in those games, but of course in this game it's a pretty average spot to train and gets kind of a bit repetitive, and then I do some really stupid stuff. For some reason they added in all these ledges for this part of the route to try and make it a bit, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a puzzle, I think that's kind of a bit generous, but to try and make it a bit more interesting, I guess. But they're kind of annoying because I didn't really know where to go or what was, because I just wanted the direct route out of here. I didn't want to, find the special item. I didn't want to find TM 106, growl or whatever. I didn't care. I just wanted to get out of here because it wasn't even the case that this was a case. It was endurance. Like, this whole section wasn't about me and my Pokemon and endurance, because all these trainers are embarrassingly weak. And it's really weird that these trainers are this weak, because you can technically come here straight away. Like, you don't have to go to Vermilion City, or once you arrive in Vermilion City, you can come straight here if you want. You can walk, just go up to Saffron, and then go right, and then come down. So I guess, with that in mind, they needed the trainers to be weak. But I don't know why they're this weak, though, because I think the trainers around Vermilion, and even the trainers on the boat, were stronger than these trainers, especially that one hiker that had like a level 26 or like level 29 Golem or Graveler, I think it was. That was kind of a bit weird. So yeah, I don't know, it's kind of a bit odd. And also, I couldn't be bothered to cut out the wild battles. I'm sorry, but I just couldn't be bothered. I should have cut them out to save time, but it only happened a couple of times. And believe you me, it was more frustrating playing this with the wild battles because I don't have any repels. I really do need to get some and use some repels because, of course, another thing about Kanto is that you can't train here using the wild Pokemon because they're all just so embarrassingly weak. You have to go back to Johton if you want to train with wild Pokemon. Although there's so many trainers here, I don't think there's actually that much point doing that. And they tricked me here. I was like, right, a double battle. I'll avoid those two girls because a double battle is going to take forever. And then, of course, they put some woman right in the exact place. So if you try and avoid the twins, now you're doing a battle anyway. And, oh, thank God I just managed to steamroll through these people. I'm being overly negative about this, but really I did have a bad time. Because also when I play on my emulator, there's lag. So this whole section took me probably like 40 minutes, rather than the edited down 19. Well, anyway, we finally made it to Fuchsia City, and, well, I'm going to go to the Pokemon Center and heal. So next time in Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver, we will get our 5th gym badge. So I've been on 23, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.